Get started, we'll have a prayer followed by pledge of allegiance.
Father God, we thank you for your kindness in bringing us all together today. Though we may not know what this meeting holds, we know that you do. As we begin, Lord, help us to keep your word in mind. Lead us into conversations that are fruitful and enrich the lives of those who are here today. When we are undecided, please lead us in your wisdom. When our opinions may disagree, help us to remain respectful of one another. More than anything, Lord, would you help us both to seek your will and to pursue your glory through all that we say and do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I call the meeting to order for agenda business. First item on the agenda is public comment.
Nobody on it.
Nobody on public comment. All right, minutes from our last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 3rd meeting as submitted.
A motion on the floor is to approve our minutes from our August 3rd meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is reports. Sheriff, you have anything to report?
Would you like to start with me first? We've hired 2 new deputies. We've got one going to the academy in Fairmont starting next Monday. The other guy had some issues with his eyes, according to the academy standards. So he has to wear some contacts for a while until he's comfortable with those, and then they'll take him most likely in the next academy class. So Alexander Burge will start Monday, and then Connor Waldron will start just as soon as they accept him with his eyes the way they are. So it's not that he can't see, they just have a standard that if he was to get his glasses knocked off in a fight, he has to be able to have uncorrected vision good enough that he can protect himself. So just is something we kind of got to jump through, but we'll get there. Yeah, that's about it.
Now, would that be to put us fully staffed together?
That'll put us to 18 full-time deputies, 1 part-time deputy, and yeah, that pretty much puts us up to full speed.
Aaron, sorry. I'm trying to see if I'm missing anybody. Excuse me.
I have the report, but I also have last year's end of the year report, so I'm gonna try to do it quickly. If you look at the first page, next to last column will show the final numbers for community corrections as of last fiscal year. Total number of participants that we had on the program was 260. 40 of them were full participants, 135 as a conditional bond, 45 services, 12 from parole, 3 check-ins and drug screenings, and 26 from probation. Had 97 individuals complete my program, had 65 terminate from the program, but we had 21 re-enter back in the program. We've sent 15 individuals to rehab. I would say probably about 30% of them did complete rehab. With community service hours, we did 1,373 hours. Employment hours of the full participants on the program, we did 17,920 hours. I had 7 out of 8 individuals complete my domestic violence program. With just our participants, we did 2,618 drug screenings, 396 were positive, which gives us 2,222 negatives. With the community service hours, we saved the county $12,013.75. We collected $32,262. With the regional jail bill, we saved the county last fiscal year $1,486,679. So with the total community service savings in the regional jail bill, we saved the county $1,498,692.75. If you look at the last column, it is our current numbers. We currently have 117 individuals on the program. So far this fiscal year, we've had 1 full participant, 14 conditional bond, 1 services. I've had 7 individuals complete my program, 2 terminate from the program, 1 re-enter back in the program. I've had 2 individuals go to rehab, one of which has completed and has returned to us the last couple of days. Community service hours, we've done 275 community service hours. With employment, we've done 3,040. I've had 3 individuals start our domestic violence program. We've administered with our participants 378 drug screens. We've had 30 positives, which gives us 348 negatives. With our community service hours, we've saved the county $2,406.25. We've collected $3,693. With the regional jail bill so far this fiscal year, we've saved the county $229,971.75. So the total of the community service savings in the regional jail bill, we've saved the county $232,378.
So on the community service savings, $2,406, what type of work are they doing?
We've had people help you all in the building next door. We've had people help, I think that was in July, Clark, with collecting, the electronics that time. We have people doing community service in our office, it's just whatever pops up.
Okay.
From the 117 participants so far, that's since what, July 1?
Well, the 117 is what we currently, so that number
That's
is just
carryover.
right now.
Does that carry over
Yeah,
from
that
last year
carries-
as well? I mean, that's not 117 people since July 1, right?
No,
Okay.
it's 117, that's the current number that I have right now in the
Okay.
program.
Okay.
So during the fiscal year, that top number is just the current number. And then what I do at the end of the fiscal year, I start at the beginning and count all the participants from starting on the program and how many we get through the year.
Okay.
So, yeah, that top number is what we currently have, so it's not all of them added up. It's just what right now, what I have on the program.
My concern was that's not what we've taken in since July 1, is what I'm
No.
saying.
No,
Okay.
it's just the
That's a lot
current.
of criminals in just a month.
No,
I was gonna
that's,
say, a short period of time.
that's just the current number that I have.
All right.
Alright, so on the next page, it shows that current number and how they're broken down. So we have 20 full participants, 59 on bond, 18 services only, 1 check-in, 15 from probation and 4 from parole. Now, of our full participants, we have 13 employed, 3 unemployed, 2 on the run, and 2 on disability, which gives us our 20. So the next few pages is showing, and I'm gonna go just through a couple of them. The next few pages is the statistics specifically on our positive drug screens, but the best way is to look at the graphs, which is the 3rd page in. So for North Central Community Corrections participants in the program, if you look at the bottom graph, you can see that the number one substance that we see in most of our positives.
I just go there. Does anybody know what you think the number one drug is that they use?
Meth?
Meth.
Meth.
Okay, sorry.
So 36% of the participants that came through our program, they were positive for meth. We have seen an increase from last fiscal year to this fiscal year in alcohol as well as marijuana. And the remaining of them are still trickling less than 5%. But the number one is methamphetamine and has been for at least for the last 4 years. Like I said, about 5 years ago, I did give you those graphs. So back in 2017-18, the number one was buprenorphine, which is your Suboxone and Subutex, but it has dwindled down and methamphetamine has been on the rise. We are in a decrease from last fiscal year. Methamphetamine last fiscal year was 44%. We are, meaning 2 years ago, but last fiscal year we're at 36. So it is decreasing, not by much, but,
Alcohol and fentanyl's coming up?
well, fentanyl has definitely increased a little bit, but we're seeing that mostly being laced in with the methamphetamine. We see that methamphetamine is being laced with fentanyl as well as ecstasy. More fentanyl than ecstasy, but, so those are the statistics for the fiscal year, and if you go to the 3rd page, which has just got the one graph, this is DHHR screens, so I split between our participants and the screens that we do for CPS. So as you can see that graph, Meth was not the number one was marijuana at 37%. Alcohol did also show a rise at 26%, but methamphetamine was still at 23%. So we are still seeing an issue amongst the CPS clients, but marijuana and alcohol is starting to be a thing again. If you go to the first set of graphs, or the charts, if you look at the bottom chart, this shows the drug screenings for North Central Community Corrections specifically each month. So if you look at the last column, which is the total, we did a total number of 2,618 drug screens with just North Central Community Corrections. We sent 240 of those specimens to the lab. We did 255 blood tests. Of those 2,618 drug screenings, the total positives, this would also include prescriptions, was 570. But if I took out the prescriptions, because technically it's a negative, because they have a script, the total positives were 396. And I gave you all the other charts so you can compare from the last few years. If you go to the next 2 pages back, this is the DHHR numbers. We did, last fiscal year, we did 2,654 drug screens for the department. We sent 198 to the lab. We did 337 blood tests. We did do, and I apologize I didn't go over, we did do 1 hair follicle test for them. But the total positives with including prescriptions was 604, but the actual positives minus prescriptions was 366. Then the last few pages just kind of breaks down those positives between males and females and DHHR and community corrections. If you look at the last page, which of those charts, it's always been that with the department, we have more females that screen for the department and less males. And the program, we have more males than we do females. So it kind of flip-flops on both. But those charts is just for you to look at amongst the positives, who's between males and females in the community corrections in the department. The next, the financials of the end of last fiscal year, we brought in, with participation fees, we brought in $32,262. With community corrections minus our grant, we spent $63,254.30. Like I've always said, we're never gonna collect enough to cover that expense. So that put us in the negative, for $30,992.30. RN Enterprise, we will never have expense for them. We brought in $676. Federal probation, we spent $14,450. We brought in $34,090. Drug court, we spent $36,817.03. We brought in $38,131. DHHR, we spent $115,857.55. We brought in $297,800. Juvenile scrim, I'm still working with them, trying to figure out how to get reimbursed, because they still owe us from the previous year, but I haven't heard anything from them. So we're in the negative $355.60. Parole, we spent $80, we brought in $1,452.70. So minus our grant, we spent $230,814.48. We brought in $404,411.70. So we put in the bank $173,597.22. The next page is our grant. It just shows how the grant was spent last year, fiscal year. The $100,000 came, and then the cash match. And that all went well, as it normally does. Okay, the last page, and I promise I'll quit talking, is the current fiscal numbers. So we have spent so far this fiscal year in community corrections funds $12,257.17. We brought in $3,968. Federal probation, we've spent $2,350. The reason there is nothing there right now is because they have decided to go to direct deposit, and we're trying to figure that out. but they just sent an email this morning saying that June and July will be coming shortly, as long as we got that figured out. So we should be seeing that income coming, or that, the expense, or the revenue coming in for that. Drug court, we spent $4,580, we brought in $4,309.50. I haven't seen last month's yet, so that will be coming soon. DHHR, we spent $20,263.07. We brought in $15,300, but they are about 5 months behind, so we should see an increase in that. And nothing with juvenile or parole yet. So expenses so far this fiscal year is $39,450.24. We've brought in $23,577.50. So we are currently in the hole $15,872.74, but I'm still waiting for that other money to come.
Question?
No, that's a lot of info, sorry.
Thank you.
Alright, so now I'm running to go to court.
Can I ask a question?
What would you like?
From where does your grants come from?
The state.
State grant?
State gives her $100,000, and then we do a cash match from the county at $42,000.
Okay.
I write a grant every year and
We always
request.
get the same dollar amount?
We have for the last 3-4 years.
Okay.
They have decreased, in the last year or so, the grant is becoming non-existent, which they've told us was going to happen eventually.
Well, I was just curious, cause you kept making reference to the grant, but where did that grant money come from?
Yeah, it came from the state.
Thank you.
Alright, I'm going to court.
Anything from you? Thank you. Thing I got to report is that I attended at the, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I attended the, County Commissioners Association meeting that was held in Glade Springs. Some topics that was discussed there was the regional jail bill. Randolph County in the state is number 10 in spending for the regional jail bill at $1.5 million is what we spend out. Kanawha County is the highest at about 3.3 million what they spend out for, and that's for how much the county is responsible for the inmates. Per day, we're charged, I think it's like $54 a day for inmates. So again, last year, I just signed a check for $93,000 last month for our last month's jail bill. The good thing is that, they're looking at, there's new legislation. Now I asked Parker to come down and explain it to us, but, he's in court. But currently, cities that have a population of more than 4,000 are responsible for 1 day of, the jail. If they bring somebody to magistrate court and whatever. That's, with new legislation, they could be up to 5 days. So we could be getting some money back that way, will help out. But again, we're number 10th in spending on, in county throughout the state on a regional jail bill. That's a lot of money when you've got an $11 million budget to operate off of. $1.5 million comes right off the top to spend for the regional jail bill.
Is the jail bill gonna go up? Per diem going up this year?
They're doing it on 80%, it's like $45, and then their base is at the $54, and then if you go over it's based off the population of the state, and they have a percentage about how many days in the jail average that you spent last year, and it's a big formula, but it's $45 to $54 a day. So again, we need to, we did, and we anticipated, and when we budgeted our budget this year, about $1.5 million, because we range anywhere from $1.2 million to $1.5 million on our jail bill. Other topics, P card, there's a lot of discussion that we've been asking about P cards. I've got the gentleman from the auditor's office will be coming up, and we'll be going over our process on P cards and see if there's any changes we would like to do for that. I spoke about the TIF legislation, having that being a priority for the County Commissioners Association. There's other counties that are facing that as well. Cabell County is a big one. They've got, the city of Huntington has 2 TIFs on the county commission there. They're looking to do a third, and they're looking to extend 2 of their 30-year ones that's coming up another 15 years on the county. I talked to some county commissioners from Jefferson County that they never faced a TIF, so I gave them some where we went through on that, and so that was a good conversation that we had there. Do you guys have any other announcements?
I don't have anything.
Alrighty, items for discussion and action. Our first item is a presentation from the Randolph County Lifeguards. I'm gonna ask Jeff Pritt and Stan if you wanted to give us an update on the pool first before we do the lifeguards.
Again,
Would you please?
I didn't bring my notes, so I'll just tell you anyway.
Well, you got Kim there to back you up.
Yeah.
We are very, very proud of you guys for doing the Randolph County Pool and Splash Pad. We have nothing but positive remarks. I'm there every day mostly, and when people walk in and see the place, they just totally amazed. And they want me to tell you all that it's greatly appreciated, and Randolph County needed that for a long time. And on behalf of the Elks, we are very proud that you let us do the work going on the pool, take care of the lifeguards and concession stand and all that. We had a total, like any business, we had some problems at the beginning, but those all got worked out. And if any business is gonna be successful, you have to have good employees, and we definitely had good employees this year. We have one chemical specialist, we had 11 lifeguards, we got 11 people in the concession stand, we got a top-notch group of people here helping me. I got Jeff Britt, who's our supervisor, and I have Kim Hare.
I'm behind you.
Oh, who will give you the reports on that, they'll make you real happy.
Just look up.
And Amber Tight, Watch, always call her Tight. She is our treasurer and did a great job with on payroll and everything. The kids had a chance to get a paper check, or they could have direct deposit. We never had any problem with the kids or anything. If they couldn't work, they exchanged with each other. We had no problems at all. Health department came up, and they was there probably 2 hours doing water testing and everything, and she commended us very well, and there was no negatives as far as the chemicals. So now I'll let Kim give you a report on
Okay.
some of our report.
Total days open for the season, so this report is just through July the 31st. But the total days open was 53, the days closed for repairs was 4, the days closed due to weather is 9. We had to close the pool early several times because of the weather. Total number of swimmers was, wait for it, 6,026.
Did you get that?
That's just through,
DJ, you get that?
July 31st, that's from May the 27th through July 31st. The total number of parties from June the 1st, because we didn't start scheduling until June, to July 31st was 51, and we had 2 cancellations. Most of those were for birthday parties. However, Harmon School, early on in the season, had their after school celebration. They rented the pool. Beverly School this past week has rented 2 nights in a row for a meet and greet for the kids. We had several large crowds during the day in this time period, and they were from George Ward, Randolph County 4-H camp during their camp that week, the West Virginia Children's Home, and the RCC, which then we were able to utilize the chair that lifts folks into the pool. We utilized that several times. We've had several handicapped folks come to swim. The total number of family memberships was 58. The individual memberships was 9, and the senior memberships was 2. We really have serviced lots of counties, but the primary counties are Randolph, Tucker, Pocahontas, Barber, and Upshur. We've had them from all over the place. Attached to your all's information is an August, what August looks like, and as you can see, this Sunday is when we close just during the week. From Sunday on, we'll only be open on weekends and for parties. But we have talked about leaving the splash pad open since it doesn't require a lifeguard. And that way moms can bring their little ones up to enjoy the, we haven't decided on the hours yet, but we'll put that on Facebook when we get that decided. It's been a great, great thing for our community. I can't say enough about how many comments, positive comments I've had, and questions.
So, just to get it right for the paper,
Mhm.
this is the last week that we're open every day up until this Sunday,
That is correct.
because our lifeguards are gonna go back to high school and
We've
college.
lost all but 2 lifeguards. They all went back to college and they started high school on Tuesday.
Alright, so then after that, we'll be open for parties that are from 7 till 9
Mhm.
during the week, and then on Saturdays and the Sundays will be normal hours.
Yes,
Alright, so through Labor Day.
yes, sir.
Do Labor Day.
Yes, sir.
Very
And
good.
we're gonna have Saturday, we'll have a free day. This coming Saturday will be a free swim.
Did you get that, DJ?
Get all the good stuff, buddy.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Oh, our lifeguards, out of the 11 lifeguards, 6 of them was college students, so we did really well on that.
Yes.
Jeff, did you have anything?
Yep, sure do. First, I'd like to reiterate what Stan said, and thanks. This has been a great adventure for the county commission, for all of Randolph County, and for the Elks as well. Since our ribbon cutting on May 26th, till today, we went through the roster this morning and we pulled some towns. I know that was a big topic of where people came from and what they did. Just about every city and town in Randolph County, someone has signed in on the register. We've serviced Junior, Billington, Philippi, Flemington, in the Barber County area. We've serviced Parsons, Canadian Valley, Davis, Thomas, and Hendricks, Durbin, Cass, and Greenbank, Seneca Rocks, Franklin, Moorfield, and Petersburg, Buchanan, Rock Cave, Weston, Jane Lou, Bridgeport, Salem, Clarksburg, Fairmont, Morgantown, Star City, Cheat Lake, Monterey, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, Lee, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, and a few others that I've missed. In closing, I'd just like to say that if success is measured by smiles and laughter, by friendship and camaraderie, by opportunity and adventure, then commissioners, we build a legacy for future generations. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I know we feel as a commission that this was a very worthwhile project for the county, and that's what we did it for, was for all county residents, not for just any certain group or anything. We did it for everybody. And again, the lifeguards and your staff that you had there this summer, anytime I go up there, now I've seen, and people have commented, and people have commented to me about how attentive they were, and how professional they were. So we wanted to personally thank the lifeguards for what they have done this summer, and we wanted to give them a certificate of appreciation. Do you have any lifeguards here today with you?
Yeah, we do.
Ah.
Sophia Triplett, our lifeguard today.
Well, I'm gonna give, Sophia, I'm gonna give you all of them, if you pass them out. It's your responsibility.
She was the meanest one up there.
Oh.
As far as lifeguards.
I don't think that's true. We try to find where to go fast. I'm gonna get a picture. All right, you want to get a picture there, Mr. DJ? They just state that, certificate of appreciation is awarded to, again, they have their name, but Sophia Triplett for their outstanding performance as a lifeguard at the Randolph County Pool and Splash Pad during this inaugural year. So I want to thank them for this.
Thank you.
Want to do it from the seat?
Huh?
Should you do it from your seat?
Tyler, you gotta move.
I know, I am.
This one?
No, we'll let David.
Yeah, no.
Get one for her.
Smile, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here you go.
Always.
Here's for the other.
I'll try my best to. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We
It was a
appreciate
lot
it.
of fun this year.
Thank you.
And a lot of them, the first day when we opened up, I mean, they were white as ghosts. And when I came back later that evening or the next day, the lifeguards were beet red. But now, they've all got nice tans, so I mean, but again, those kids, the kids at the concession stand, I mean, how many jars of pickles did you sell at the concession stand? How many?
42-gallon jars
Of pickles. They all gave Stan heck, especially Jeff did, about wanting to sell pickles, those big pickles that you buy at Sam's Club for that, and he sold 42 jars this year, so congratulations.
The lifeguards are responsible for some of those as well.
About 41 of them.
And if you've been up for, you've seen the paintings that was done by the local artist on the bathhouse. The pump house now, Peggy Ross, I don't know if she's in here, but she's got us another grant, and has she finished the painting?
She's there today.
She's there today, so, there'll be a painting on the pump house, and then the kid slide, we had problems with the manufacturing process of the kid slide, but we are getting a kid slide for next year, and it's a big bear, and they slide out of a log. So we're tying it into our wilderness theme that we have up there. So again, thank you, Elks, for running this for us. We never wanted to run the project, and have employees at the project. We always wanted to, it would be our property, but you guys would run it for us, so thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate everything.
Thank you.
All right, next item, a couple items on the agenda is, we're gonna have updates from organizations that we had ARPA funding, that we provided ARPA funding to, and where they stand on money that was spent and what they used it for. This is all part of our audit process that we have to have, making sure that the money went to, and spent to where it was supposed to go. So the first one is an update from Randolph County Development Authority. Raleigh?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having me here today to provide an update on the Elkins Rail Yard Event Center. So this has been quite a project, looking at the development from this project from conception to reality. We are currently finishing up the design phase. We are starting to get into the design and permitting and approval phase of this. The State Historic Preservation Office, through an agreement we had to enter into with them, has to review the plans, and we are going to submit that right after Labor Day for their initial review. And then we'll be creating the construction documents, the bidding documents, all that sort of stuff will take place in the fourth quarter of this year, getting preliminary approvals from Fire Marshal and DEP and SHPO and USEDA and all the different regulatory bodies that we have to go through to actually be able to put the project out to bid. We anticipate accepting bids in the first, towards the middle to end of the first quarter of 2024 and going to construction in the second quarter of 2024. Now, if the regulatory bodies would approve faster than that, then we will be ready to go. We're working with Region 7 Planning and Development Council, which has been instrumental in not only guiding us through all of the different sources of funding and reporting and all of that, but also getting all the documents ready in which to put the project out to bid and to stay in compliance. So your ARPA dollars are not the only federal monies that we're working with. We have not spent hardly any money except for some bills to Thrasher Engineering for the design and construction documents. Of your funds, and Commissioner Kiesling, you're on our board, so you see our financials, we still have the full $250,000 that you were allocated to us is still unspent, as is the city money. The RCDA has spent our own funds so far on the bills that we've had for design. But once, obviously Thrasher's gonna be spending a lot of money with creation and construction documents and the engineering of the project. And then once construction starts, it'll start flying out the door. So we are still within all regulatory timeframes of committing and then spending that money. And 2024, 2025 will be busy year. So I do have, so I'll tell you, we had a public comment, public meeting and a public comment period on the design as we have it now. The meeting was well attended. I believe there were 19 people who came for the public meeting, and we received, not counting the verbal comments that were addressed during the meeting, but I think we had 8 written submitted comments after that period. So those were all relayed to Thrasher and the architecture team to try and incorporate. Overall, the reception we've gotten on this project has been really positive, and we think it's going to be a great addition to Randolph County. So with that, I'll show you some of the boards that we had from the public comment period. So I'll try and stand over here where everyone can see. So this is the site plan. This is Town Square, Summit Church, Rail Yard Restaurant, the Depot. So you can see the building from when we first conceptualized this to now. We started out at 16,000 square feet. We're now a little over 28,000 square feet. So as you can imagine, the cost of the project has also risen, but again, working with Region 7 and different funding partners, we are filling that financial gap quickly. This could change a little bit as far as, we obviously have more room down here for additional parking. We have to meet the City of Elkin's parking requirements and the rail yard covenants and all that. So this was mostly for building placement. I will say the plaza that is contemplated right there is about the only part of the project that is not funded right now. We do have a transportation enhancement, transportation alternatives grant into the West Virginia Division of Highways. We haven't heard on that yet, but we're making contingency plans in which we could fund that, because the last thing I want to do is have all this nice new concrete and asphalt for parking lots and roads and all that, and then a year later have to go in and kind of tear that up to put it.
Do you have a cost for that?
Right now, depending upon what the final size ends up being, which we have a meeting coming up on the 22nd, and the Development Authority itself will sign off on the final design at our meeting on September 6th. Right now, it's looking anywhere from 600 to 750,000, depending upon if we go with walls on the outside, because part of our agreement with SHPO is we have to have interpretive signage that shows what the roundhouse was, what the rail yard was, and all that sort of stuff. So it depends on how extensive we end up going with that, but that's a rough budget there. So that's the site plan, the floor plan for the project. There's 3 main sections, of the building. The top in the pink is the Ascend Center. That's part of how we've been able to increase our allocation from the state is with the Ascend space through that program. So that'll be co-working space for them. The blue section is the Performance Theater. Right now has 420 seats. Concession stand, ticket and reception booth, green rooms, dressing rooms, bathrooms, office space. The yellow section, or this light blue section right here is the pre-function space. So that's where the lobby is and all the things I was talking about there. Then the conference center down here, as set up with round tables, with the stage down, you're looking at 500 plus seating capacity. If you just have chairs for an event, it's obviously more classroom style, will be more. The other thing with the conference space is you can split, you can have it open one big room, or at max you can split it up into 4 smaller rooms for different size conferences and events, so you can have multiple things going on here at one time. And then over here on the side, we have areas for a full-size commercial kitchen. All of this was designed with contemplation of having a 500 plus person plated dinner. So it'll be more than enough space to accommodate even the largest of events, plus employee areas, dry food storage, coolers, freezers, storage for tables and chairs and all that. And then I have a couple boards here that show some of the renderings of the outside, the exterior of the building. One of the things we're still working on is the brick around the building. We're looking at some different options for the top of the brick line to the bottom of the roof line. And we'll be presented with a few different options for that on our meeting on Tuesday. You can see the plaza when I talk about the wall, and there's signage on the inside of that wall and different things. So we'll be working with SHPO on what we need to do from a rendering standpoint there. And then here are some renderings of the inside of the building. Now, none of the colors, carpets, lighting fixtures, anything of that nature, none of that is actually selected, so it kind of looks a little drab. They were just trying to show, you know, where we would have carpet, where we could have other kinds of floor finishings and so forth, but gives you an idea of the space. We do plan on decorating inside with, you know, various spots of Elkins and the rail yard and Randolph County and things of that nature, from the cultural aspect of the project. So, and that's where we are. Any questions?
I just think that once we get it done, I mean, it's gonna be a great asset for the county and the city. Cause just like the event that I went to, they do that around the state. Elkins, Randolph County doesn't have a place for that to happen. Cause it had 150, 200 people there in that meeting, and you eat there and stuff too. So I mean, this is a perfect thing. I can say, hey, let's have it in Randolph County this year.
Right, we're gonna have, you know, 3 hotels within a stone's throw of the facility with the Hampton, the Isaac Jackson, and the New Tiger Hotel.
We prefer them to stay outside the city so we get the hotel.
I understand, but, you know, with the restaurants and things of that nature, and, you know, the hotels even outside of Elkins, there's plenty of rooms for right now, but hopefully, I've had several inquiries by hotel proprietors looking for new space within the county, because they see the growth potential and all the things we have going on. So I think this is going to spur, along with a lot of other projects we have going on and that are in the works right now, I think it'll be a nice boost to the county. We're really excited about it. So hopefully we'll have a second quarter grand opening of 2025, depending upon how the winter of 2024 goes, and when we obviously get started. So.
This would be good for law enforcement training as well. We do a lot of, like, National Academy does a lot of trainings around the state. And they go to different towns and things and bring speakers and stuff. I've been to several in Charlestown and Martinsburg, up Cumberland, Charleston, places like that. And they're not using anything that's any bigger than what you're building.
Right.
And it'd be perfect for doing that for here and bringing other agencies into our county rather than our agencies, our cities and county agencies having to go across the state for training.
Absolutely, you know, the CVD will tell you, the Chamber of Commerce will tell you that they get calls from different groups, hey, you know, we surveyed our membership and they would like to, you know, come to this area of West Virginia. Here are our criteria for hosting our conference or our convention or our event. You know, would you like to submit a bid? And we never can because we can't meet the criteria. So this facility will help us attract a lot of those types of events. Plus the performance theater side of things will also be able to add to the current tourist attractions we have, you know, from the railroad, the Gandy Dancer, when we have, you know, Augusta going on and things like that. It will just add so that hopefully instead of spending 1 night, 2 nights max, people are able to spend, you know, multiple nights in the county, spend more money, and boost a lot of current business as well as attract new. So that's the goal and that's the plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your support.
Appreciate you working on it.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
Next item, we have an update from Midland PSD.
Thank you for having us. I'm Ron Vance, manager of Midland PSD. I have Jim Marshall with me. He's with Region 7, the Planning and Development Council, previously mentioned. I have a short time lapse of the building project, if you're okay to watch that for a minute and get that hooked up for you.
My voice is gone,
Shot.
so, but I'm gonna, this is where we stand financially with the ARPA money that you guys gave. You want a copy of that too? So we got a 1.25 million from you guys And so far, we've, doing the building itself, spent $665,000 and change. And you'll see here in a little bit, the, progress that's happened.
Rookie,
We plugged in?
she's coming to save the day. So we gave you $1.25 million, you said?
Yeah,
There we go. Just went back.
yeah, you gave Midland 1.25 million, the total, let's see, is a total project. The whole thing is 4.7 plus
4.7?
million, yeah.
Used to be sound. Okay,
So we'll do it like this.
we can sing if you want, but I don't think you really want that.
I was just by there yesterday.
They did get off to a slow start, then they took off.
Ron, is this in Glenmore?
Yes, yeah, it's right behind our existing
Yeah,
building.
I've been by, I saw you working on it.
Yeah, our existing building is dated back to the 1950s. We got plenty of use out of it.
Used to be an old Ford garage in it at one time.
Yes, you're right.
Did you know that? I didn't know that. I live in Livermore.
What, tractors, Ford tractors, or?
No, it was, fellow last name by Nestor, I can't remember his first name, but it was back in the early fifties.
It was more a repair shop than
Yeah.
ownership.
But he was a certified Ford mechanic, and he left the Ford and set his own shop up there.
Oh, okay.
So they have an ETA when they'll be done,
They're expecting us to be able to move in probably the first of the year.
first of the year? And they tearing down the old house and?
Yes, that's the plan, to tear down the house and the garage.
That'd be parking then, or?
Yes.
Egress into the building, the main garage is right where your current garage is now, right?
Into the garage part, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Into the office part, no, it'll be basically right behind where our office is now. You can see the picture there.
Now, will they, that side there, will they be able to drive through and drop off payments again like they did before?
Yes,
or-
the drive-through will basically be in the same location where it is now as far as the driveway part of it, yes.
Mhm.
This is the budget for the total project, the building and the water line extension, with all the different funding sources shown. And I'd read it, but my gosh, it's a struggle.
So you took a bulk of our, for the maintenance and office building? The bulk of the $1.2 million?
Yeah.
And you spent it all?
We have, no, not yet, we haven't.
This is all just going toward, this is what's gonna go towards?
Most of it's, what, I don't know, maybe 85% of it or so is going toward the building. The rest of it will be on the line extension.
And the line extension is for what now?
Line extension goes out Faulkner Road.
Mhm.
It's gonna extend from the Cheat River Bridge out Faulkner Road to the last campground out there. And it's currently still in the design phase. So we submitted everything to the Public Service Commission. They have their time frame to do their thing. We really have no control over that. So as soon as we get that back, we're hoping to be able to put it out to bid sometime this fall.
About how many more people would have?
There's potential for 88 customers out there.
You guys got any more?
No, it's looking good.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, it seemed like it was forever just you know nothing, and then you drive by there every day now, there's something else different.
It was challenging in the dirt work, yes. There was some compaction issues that had to be taken care of, and we got through that, and they assured us though that once they did get started on the actual construction, that it would go quick, and they were correct, it has.
At least they didn't use the shovels we used for regular.
No, we still have the gold shovels.
All right, well, let's hope they get you in by the first of the year.
That's the plan, and I certainly hope so.
Are your campgrounds hooking up to the waters?
Some of them are, not all of them. I suspect that'll be something that will happen in the future, as what happens in a lot of areas where water goes in. The folks have existing wells and that kind of thing, they're hesitant to spend money on a monthly water bill until their system fails, and then they hook up to it then, so that's very likely, that's a likely scenario.
A lot better to hook up while you still got good water than to wait until it fails.
Yeah, a lot of folks, they don't wanna pay for water, but, if you have a well, you're still paying for water. You're just not paying a water bill.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is update from Norton Harding Jimtown PSD.
Yeah, Curtis was unable to make it due to, personal things there.
Okay.
He said he stopped by the shop, dropped this off to me before, came in. He's telling me the phase one is funded completely with the 500 that we give them from, American Rescue Plan, and then they received a 1.1 million, grant as well. They said the groundwater feasibility study has been completed. They identified areas with favorable geology to produce a new high capacity groundwater source. The last two things they have on there is contract number one, which is the SCADA system upgrades, developing contract documents on that. And then the contract two is the new raw water source, where they stated that there'd be up to 3 test wells that may be drilled at locations selecting during the groundwater feasibility test. That would be the things that they'll have to do. And then they're starting to work on their financing and money for the phase two, which would be the water treatment plant project itself, which includes upgrading or replacing the existing water treatment facility. The phase one improvements will be utilized in that project, and then cost estimates being finalized and working toward a funding scenario. That's where they're at with it right now.
Okay. Last update, regarding our ARPA funding is from Drive Work Recreation Center. I tried to hurry before you sat down. I didn't quite make it.
That's fine.
He kept talking.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Thank you for let me speak to you today for the rec center and Heifer Rec Center. Chris, glad to see you up and around.
I'm a Gator. You too.
Yeah, amen. Gotta thank the good Lord for every step I take. My name's Rex Vance. I'm the president of Drive Work Recreation Center. And some of you people don't know where we're at. We're just north of Harmon, behind the old grist mill, which I understand still operates. And it hasn't operated for several years, but I think it's where it can function, so. But we started this project in 97 or 98, and we started first off with a baseball, softball field and concession stand, and every year we did a little something to the area to make it better for our community, for our kids in our community. And so we was asked that, it's been a couple years ago, if we could raise $100,000 in our community, we'd be given a grant. Well, little community ain't very big. Harmon's not a very big community. We raised $116,000 in order to get our $250,000 grant. What that was for is, we had dreamed for a building for the kids and for the seniors as well, because in Harmon you can't walk the walking track in the wintertime unless you have a shovel. So we decided we'd try to build a gym big enough that they'd be able to walk around the gym as part of their activities. So And it's for the seniors, for everyone involved, every community in the area. And, give a little update where we're at. We started with, of course, we had to have a footer, and we did a concrete wall all around the building's gonna be 110 by 90. It's gonna have a kitchen, it'll have a wellness and fitness center, showers, bathroom, and everything else we can get in there. We're hoping to have a stage so that the kids can have a place that they can, and I think there's nothing like public speaking. You know, there's things that kids don't have in the classes today where they need public speaking, you know, and having a stage in front of people is the way to go. And that's what we're having. We're gonna have that. So, but we have a breakdown of our funds and where we're at, and we got the footer, the retaining wall, well, not retaining wall, it's just a wall, and then got stone ready for the concrete for the floor, and was in a situation we didn't sure exactly what for heat was going to put in the building. So we talked to several people, and we come up with going to put floor heat, radiant heat in the floor. So that's going to cost us a good bit of money, but they say in the long run, over the years, you'll save it back. You know, I talked to one guy that built that one. His is like twice our size, and he says he keeps his thermostat set to 60, and it just, you know, just wonderful. You know, so that's where we're at there now. And the good news is that there's a guy started this morning putting the building up. We could not find anyone to erect the building. We tried and tried and tried. So this guy started this morning. It's called Truss Steel Erectors. And in fact, he's working over right now. I left there at 12 o'clock, and he was starting to set the steel right then. So that's a wonderful thing for us and the community, you know. So that, because we was wondering why and when we could get it started, you know. So that was a message from God that says He's ready, you know. So, but I didn't know whether you'd have these. I'll give these to you. This is like an invoice of what we'd spent, and so far we spent $215,423.15, and I just wrote a check to this guy for $7,500 for a deposit to get him started in the building. So, and I'll give you all that. And but it's wonderful for us, for the community, and it's open. It will be open to everyone. We don't want to put anyone out. You know, it's,
how much did we give you?
$250,000.
We gave you $250,000. Okay.
And we raised over $116,000. That was what we just put in.
Then you got a grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's what we're working on now. And I'll show you this here while I'm here. I got it. No, I can still bend over, but I can't.
Let's get him back up.
We have a couple of major events in our community area. We have Autumn on the Dry Fork. It's on the 14th. We have pork roast, chicken barbecue. We make cider right on site. We make apple butter right on site. And everyone's welcome to come to it. But that's, I'll give that to you too, so you can post it or whatnot. That's good. It's
Good apple butter.
wonderful. We can't make enough apple butter. It's just, we just can't make enough of it.
I'm sure.
You know, so.
I thought I was buying moonshine last year, because I was buying apple cider out of the
Well,
trunk.
now we could probably do that. You know.
You've got the other.
Yeah,
They don't tell the sheriff something here.
we're a bunch of people. That don't make a difference. He'll drink it too. Or maybe has drank it. No comment, huh?
No, you won't tell us.
But we sure appreciate everything you've done. I know Harmon's a small community, but, you know, we had a little girl here last week from Davis. She said she wanted to have a bike-a-thon to help raise money for the rec center from Davis. She did all the work, getting it ready, give donations for the funding of the snacks and stuff to do it, and it's just great. It's just a wonderful thing for our community. So, and we appreciate everything you've all done for us.
Well, we appreciate everything you guys
Yeah,
are out there.
You've, like you said, been working on for years. Come
I
along.
started with an old D7 dozer, shoving the topsoil off so we could bring it up to, out of the flood zone. And part of our property there has been raised to meet at least 11 feet. That's how much we've raised it, so. We dredged the river, any place we could find a little dirt, we got it. And, so that's where we're at tonight. Have any questions?
You guys done a great job, Rex, and as far as that autumn or the dry fork, I would highly recommend anybody go to that, best pulled pork I ever had. I had to take like 5 meals home just for my wife, it lasted for a week.
We appreciate it. It's something that, we done that we started that in 98, the autumn or the dry fork, with the chicken and the pork, and then every year it's grown a little bit. We have vendors, also have vendors, that come after that, so, but I appreciate again everything you've done
Your
for us.
mom, you bring out butter all the time.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you.
sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item on the agenda is an informational presentation from the Randolph County Solid Waste Authority.
Well, thank you all for giving me a chance to speak today. My name is Clark Martin, for those who don't know me. I'm a chairman with the Randolph County Solid Waste Authority, and a couple of the people who serve on the board are here, Tim Hornick and Chris C. Help me out in trying to do the best I can in keeping this county clean. One other gentleman who is going to be here, Sterling Daniels. Sterling Daniels is the owner of the Tiger Valley Recycling Center. Most of you remember that as formerly the Randolph Recycling Center under Joe Gum. As you know, the recycling center is closed, period. It's not going to be opening back up under the name of Sterling Daniels, under his name. I've been receiving phone calls and emails, not just within Elkins, but also outside the county. Matter of fact, one of them, the gentleman we just spoke to, the mayor of Dry Fork, Rex Vance. So, also I had a call from a couple from Mingo. I say that because a lot of people say that all the recycling center does is help the people of Elkins out. Well, there are people who live outside the city limits that actually plan once or twice a month to come in to take care of all the items. Anyway, the reason that Sterling is closing shop is finances, point blank, finances. He's had to the point where he's had to literally dip into his own wallet to pay for some of the items that are being moved out of Randolph County. It's getting harder and harder for the smaller recycling centers to stay afloat, because the problem is they're having a hard time getting the money that they would like to take the plastics, take the cardboard, take the aluminum cans, take the magazines out of Randolph County. That's the problem. And it's affecting also the larger recycling centers. I just got off the phone not too long ago with a gentleman from Cambridge, Ohio. They had 3 counties who could not make it as far as recycling is concerned. They literally had to consolidate all 3 counties to do something with that. Recently, we had an electronics recycling event out of Cincinnati. The gentleman who had that took care of recycling, but they got to the point where they couldn't do recycling. So they just concentrated on one thing, and that was electronics. So they take care of electronics only. Part of the problem is, what some people don't understand how it works, is they literally come, Sterling, as an example, will make a contact and say, listen, I've got a ton of aluminum cans. And the company will ask, what do you want for them? 1,000. And they said, sorry, we can only give you 800. And the same goes with plastic. Plastic is getting harder and harder and harder to recycle on that. And it's trying to get people to come in here to pick these items up. One of the reasons that I'm coming here is because I'm needing you guys, not money, but simply to keep your eyes and ears open. I know you had mentioned, David, about the going to talk to some of the commissioners. Sometimes you run into somebody from Doddridge County or Monroe County or Brooke County, and suddenly the subject of recycling comes up. Maybe they know something we don't, and you could bring it back to us. Also, what I'm trying to do is get folks to hold on to the, or I should not say hold on to, but have a location for for a future recycling company. The reason I say that is because once Sterling moves out, that's gonna become open, and Rob Morris is probably gonna be anxiously awaiting to get somebody in there to pay rent. So, if there's any place that you have in mind anywhere within the county, keep that in mind. Now, you're saying, well, Clark, you're planning like you've already got one. Right now, I've got somebody I'm in talks with concerning the possibility of bringing a recycling center in here. Before I came in here, I also spoke with some neighboring counties about using them. So if, as an example, Chris wanted to recycle, that he could travel to these locations. They're scratching their heads. They're not sure if they want to do it, but I'm trying to find a way because I'm getting calls from everywhere and emails about, you know, what to do, what can I do, you know, and then sometimes they get, I hate to say this, nasty. What a lot of people don't seem to understand that, as one of my cohorts in crime, Tim Hornick said, he said, the idea is they think that the recycling magically disappears. It doesn't. It's got to go somewhere, and they've got to make money. Now, the closer we are to the shore, the better chance we have for recycling. Well, we're not near a shore, so the chance of recycling is going to be harder and harder to maintain here in the county. The reason I say that, because I know a lot of times you folks probably get phone calls wanting to know what's going on. And I know I'm going to be speaking before the city council to let them know, because I know at one time they had an interest in recycling. Jerry, don't worry, I'm not trying to talk you into anything yet, so. But just to let them know so they can maybe keep their eyes and ears open, because this is going to become a problem. What I mean by a problem is you're going to see, and I'm going to be checking with Tim concerning Tiger Valley sanitation, where the cost, not the cost going up, but he's going to see probably an increase of people throwing things away because there's nowhere to put recycling items. And those who are loyal, and I mean that in a kind way, are going to hold on to them until they can find a way. But those who are semi-loyal, chances are they're going to say, I can't put it in the garage anymore. I can't put it on my back porch, so it's got to go somewhere. And then you're going to have the lazy ones who just plain outright throw it over the hill. By the way, I've also been in contact with the Solid Waste Authority of West Virginia, and a lady by the name of Carol Throckmorton, who's one of the tops, is trying to get a hold of me and trying to find somebody who will move into the area. So I'm trying to cover the bases on that, because that's, believe it or not, part of what my job is making sure there's recycling in the area. So if you fellas, and I said this kind of know of anything in one of your meetings, or maybe you stumble into one of our delegates, please pass it along, because as they say, any port in a storm. So anyway, that's what's going on. As much as I hate to say it, the recycling center is closed. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and we've been contacted by people in the community as well. What they need to understand is that he's running a business.
Exactly.
And that, like you said, and I know where I sit on the Development Authority Board, we've talked about, because they rent off Robbie.
Right.
And that he can't find buyers for his plastic, he can't find cardboard, and the cost of doing the business wasn't, like you said, he's had to reach into his own pocket to try to supplement. And that's why, it's not a county-owned, it's a private business.
Yeah. A lot of people think that we have something to do with it, referring to the Solid Waste Authority. We don't. The fact that the name was, you know, that when Joe Gum owned it under Randolph Recycling Center, it was sometimes confused. But the one thing, the ultimate fantasy I would like is to have somebody buy it along with the equipment. Because I know that
They have a baler there, there's our chief.
2 balers, Tim.
2 balers, shredder.
And a couple of forklifts?
Yep, a couple of forklifts.
Okay. The reason I say that, because he's gonna wanna try to get something out of that. And if we can find somebody who can buy the whole kit and caboodle and whatever rent Robbie's charging, it would really be a big help. But if not, that's why I'm saying to you, well, Clark, we've got a place outside Gilman, or we've got a place over in the Midland District or something like that. So if it comes to that, maybe we could send them, you know, that direction. I've got an idea though, if we could take the old Beta shoe plant and just make a recycling factory here. Just a suggestion.
And, but until something comes, Elkins Iron Metal, they take?
They'll take all types of metal.
Okay.
Which is usually something that we all start out recycling, aluminum and tin cans.
Okay.
So,
And I know like places like Kroger and Walmart, they take plastic bags. Cause I know Walmart, when I worked there, we took them in, they bale them in the back, cause then they send them, and that's part, they recycle them into the bags that they use in the shopping bags.
Right.
So that could be something, glass, any word for glass?
Well, right now, what we're doing, we're in partnership with the city of Elkins, and we've got a glass, roll-off, or a couple of glass roll-offs behind the city garage. We had to move it. Originally, it was at the old sewage plant out on the flood control road. And right now, we've moved that there, or they've moved that there because of some concerns. And so we've been able to get them, thanks to the city, who's been able to put signs up to let people know that is behind the old Pepsi-Cola plant. So they can take their glass there. And for those of you, that's amber, clear, and green, okay? So.
Anything for cardboard?
You know anything?
Nothing now, no.
Sometimes what'll happen is somebody, as an example, like Kroger's or like Armstrong, will have their own personal company that will literally drive into Beverly or drive into 11th Street to pick up the cardboard. Now, I know for a long time, both Joe and Sterling did a lot of collecting, and that's one of the few things that you can get a decent price on. I say decent because, it's not gonna cover the rent cost, and another issue, I should say, backtracking a little bit, is trying to get people who want to work. I'm not trying to be smart mouth. When you have somebody, and I can safely say it, I know that Joe paid a decent wage, and I'm sure Sterling did too. It wasn't a case of $7.95 an hour and that was it. But getting somebody to stick around long enough, because I know for a while, we did handle recycling, and it broke us. Basically, almost broke the Solid Waste Authority. That's a fact. That's when I first joined the organization about 12, 15 years ago. And I know at one time that Tim Hornick and the guys at Tiger Valley Sanitation had problems as well. And they had to get out of it because it was breaking them. So.
Yeah, that's what happened to Joe Gum. Like I said, with solid waste, where he's trying to help Joe some, subsidize him.
Well, what's Sunrise do with their stuff up there?
Well, that's one of the people we've been conversing with. I don't want to say anything just yet, but we understand that there may be somebody who is involved with Sunrise Sanitation, which is based out of Oakland, Maryland, that there may be somebody within who also has a much larger recycling plant somewhere outside of Baltimore.
Yeah, they got drop-offs in Parsons, they got drop-offs all over Tiger County.
Right, so yeah, that's one of the people I've contacted. So anyway, I know it's been a big issue. I know you guys have probably fielded phone calls. I know I fielded phone calls. I'm sure maybe Tim and Chris maybe fielded some phone calls about, hey, when's it gonna open back up? And then first we have to explain to them, we don't own it, so, which is the awful thing. But once again, Sterling, he is trying to make it easy for whoever should buy it, to an easy transition. And he just said, I did all I could, and he said, I just couldn't do it. He said, I'm not able to meet the demands of what some of these much larger recycling plants are asking of. So, all right.
Thank you. We thought you was here to tell us you was taking it over.
Pardon?
We thought you was here to tell us you was gonna take it over, I guess not.
Well, the funny thing about that, Chris, is I got the keys I was gonna drop off to you guys.
We don't want it.
Come on, you're not afraid of a bailiff, are you?
All right, next time on the,
Thank you.
Next time on the agenda is an informational presentation from Aflac.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
I'm Beth Richardson. This is Ryan Dalton. I'm a district sales coordinator with Aflac. Ryan is the agent for Randolph County. We're here today just to speak to you about the benefits available to the employees here in Randolph County. Hopefully you guys know a little bit about Aflac. If nothing else, the duck, right? We pay big money for that thing. So we are a supplemental insurance. We're not your major medical, which we are aware is PEIA. But just in speaking with Kathy Weiss, we have kind of uncovered some things that we would like to bring to your attention and maybe have a couple asks to actually further fill the gaps in some benefits that we have been doing with other municipalities around West Virginia and have seen some really good traction. Offering Aflac, we've seen has helped retain and attract employees And not only that, we understand that the employees are the backbone, right, of West Virginia. You can't run this county without them. So a lot of times, you know, even thinking of them past the retirement age. Just some information that you have there in your packet. We just gave you on the right side. I'm left-handed, so my brain doesn't work quite right sometimes. It's just an informational packet of the policies that are available through AFLAC. I did go through and highlight the policies that we currently offer to your employees. The cancer, critical illness, life insurance, and short-term disability. And so those are the policies that, you know, that we like to communicate to your employees. Randolph County Commission has been an account with us since 1979. AFLAC has been in business since 1955, so you guys were pretty much close to our foundation, on the foundation there. And, you know, just to kind of give you just some quick inserts about AFLAC, we do pay all of our premiums directly to your employee. We pay all of our benefits directly to your employees, so they can use that money to help with any type of, you know, out-of-pocket expenses, pay their car payment, whatever that may be. It helps maintain their lifestyle and give them that safety net. If they ever do leave Randolph County, they can take them with them, the policies. They do not change any premium nor any benefits. And there are no premium increases. So once you are taking out that policy through payroll, there are never going to be any increases, which a lot of times your payroll specialist loves us. So we're not coming around with an increase each year. On the left side of the policy, of the folder, something I'd like to mention in regard to the policy premiums and that is currently you guys are not a pre-tax plan. So we're not funneling that back through your section 125. We offer that as a free service. That is one of our asks today, that you do consider that. Currently you have 5 employees taking policies, and just the premium alone on those 5 employees' policies, which is employee funded. There is no contribution from the county, so these are policies that your employees are seeing value in and having deducted from their payroll. And just based on that and the average savings on your FICA and your, just based on the illustration, that would give you about, right now, just per year, is $254 that it just would save on matching those payroll taxes. And, you know, of course, we have a couple other asks that could help, you know, save some more numbers there. AFLAC does provide the section 125 for free. It's just a signature. Since you guys have already an account, there are no participations that need to be met or anything. It's just an authorization that says that you would just abide by the section 125 rules, which you already are doing with your PEIA. You know, no status change, stay on for, you know, the full year, etc. Also, Ryan and I are your local agents. We do, where our offices are in Morgantown, but we do service the city. We do Beverly, we do the town of Beverly. We do quite a few things, Canadian Valley Gas, just up the road. We are in your area a lot. Yeah, so we're here a lot. And so, another thing that we would like to ask that we have been doing in some other municipalities is, and I'm unsure, a lot of people are unfamiliar with how PEIA life policies work. PEIA offers your employees $10,000, you know, for the life. However, they don't understand what happens when they retire. The $10,000 does decrease over the years. By the age of 72, that $10,000 goes to $2,500. And while they're employed here, they can do the buy-up, which is minimal, right? Because but once they go to a retirement age, they can transfer that over. But then it becomes what's called an increasing term. What that means is they can keep that dollar amount of their benefit amount of that, but their premium increases every 5 years. And I would just use my mother as example. She is a school teacher, so she had a $100,000 life policy through PEIA, had cancer, so she's stuck, right? Can't get any type of insurance any longer. She is now 72, and they're asking $500 a month premium, which she was paying pennies for, essentially, when she was on payroll. So something we have seen a lot of traction once again is we can offer, what's called guaranteed issue life through your, through payroll to your employees. What that means is it doesn't matter if you're standing in front of me and you have cancer, been diagnosed with diabetes, if you've ever tried to get life insurance before, height and weight makes a big difference. And we do live in West Virginia, and unfortunately there's some geographical and, things that, factors that kind of go against us. And if we would offer the guaranteed issue life, there is a minimum participation. We would need 15 applicants, which with the size of your employees would not be, in our mind, would not be a problem. And they can have a guaranteed issue life policy up to $75,000. Of course, they don't have to take that. That's just the maximum amount we're allowed to offer with that size of grouping. And they can, we only do 2 types, the whole and the term, so they do have that option to customize it for their family, their premiums, and things along that line. Once again, we do need authorization from you to do that, and also we do need, this is our biggest ask, we need support. Because we do not want to muddy the waters with your PEIA, so we do need to communicate that to your employees, the difference of what we're asking. We're asking for the opportunity to educate your employees and to offer guaranteed issue life to help them throughout the remainder of the time to work with Randolph County, but even more so into the retirement age, knowing and securing that they know that they have life insurance that will never raise. When you go into retirement, you're on a budget. To get any extra funds, unfortunately, when you get older, seems you have more, medical costs, prescription costs. So, when you need it the most, to have something else that is fluctuating is not anything that gives you that safety net. And you guys have done such a great job while they're working. I think that once they, retire is something that we could help provide that for you. And the way that we do educate them is, of course, speaking to each one of them, but also through what we call a mailer, and that is also on the left side of your folder. We've given you 2 examples. One is a policyholder mailer. Essentially, it just says, we're Aflac, these are the policies that you have, that you're enrolled in, these are the ones you're not. This is what we can do while we're here. Also, it lists the dates that we would be on site, and also the contact name. The next one would be a non-policyholder mailer that we would send, and it just lists the policies that are available, and of course, once again, just letting them know when we're gonna be on site and Ryan's contact information. And then if we do elect to do the open enrollment, it kind of just gives some bullet points, and this is just an example from another company. Of course, once again, your maximum guaranteed issue life amount is $75,000. So of course we would make and customize that to Randolph County. Information about the guaranteed issue life is on the right-hand side behind those policy information. So we wanted to provide you with all of that information. So just to kind of recap, our ask for you guys today is just to consider maybe doing the section 125 to save. Right? The employees are electing these and paying them with their dollars. And also if we can introduce the guaranteed issue life to your employees. In doing that, we would need contact information, which would be a name and an address, and that would be it. We are HIPAA bound, we have fiduciary responsibilities, so we do operate under that umbrella.
Can I say something? Let's say we do meet the 15 people required. That's something that every new hire can get, and you guys can say, your HR, whoever interviews, sheriff department, county maintenance workers, say, hey, here's your PEIA stuff. You also have access to up to $75,000, whole or term, no questions asked. So should we get the 15 applicants needed, that also goes for every future new hire as an offer to them, should they want that. So it's, as an employer standpoint, very good attract and retain thing. Somebody could come here just for that. Somebody who has cancer or had surgery or something like that, organ transplant, lots of things.
All right, let us go back and you said you talked to Kathy?
Yep. We did.
Okay, we'll go back with Kathy and follow up, and then we can bring it to a future meeting for approval.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, thanks for having us.
All right, next item on the agenda is consider approval funding request from Tigers Valley Homestead Association for roof replacement. Anybody here for that?
Yep.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. My name is Tina Heinzman and I serve on the Board of Officers for the Tiger Valley Homestead Association. I believe Shelley Depp had presented some information and had sent in some quotes for roofing project at Homestead. If you're not familiar with the Homestead Association, we have renovated and reopened Homestead so that the communities in Randolph County can use that building for a variety of activities. We have sporting events there, we have craft shows, we have open gym in the making, we have police and officer training, drug dog training, and it benefits families from Beverly, Daly, East Daly, Valley Bend, Mill Creek, and others, just to name a few of the things that we've done. We have our monthly buckwheat feeds, which attract a lot of people, and people are extremely complimentary of the work that's been done at Homestead and to the volunteers that have worked to revitalize that building so that it can be used. The building is approximately 90 years old. So when it closed as a school and was taken over as a community center, a lot of work went into getting that building up and running so that people could enjoy the grounds that are there. And there's a walking track, there's playgrounds, there's fields to have activities and things in, but the roof is in dire repair. We sopped quite a bit of water not too long ago, and we need to, in order to be able to continue to use the building with the ideas and progress that we have in mind, we're gonna have to do something with the roof. And so we've come to you and asked for support in terms of financially helping us get a roof put on that building so that we can continue to rent space and hold events and open it to the community for all types of activities and adventures.
So how much was your quote?
We had two quotes. Let's see. One was $163,000, and the second one was about $109.
You know which one you were gonna go with?
We're looking at going with the 109 from Design Roofing. They will put in, they're gonna tear off the existing roof at the perimeter. They're gonna sweep and remove slag from the remainder of the roof, inspect the roof deck and repair as needed with plywoods, joists, fill in roof removed with tapered poly something that I cannot pronounce. And then they're going to attach this fiber board that will drain towards the edges without changing the structure of the building a lot. It'll have a slight incline to it so that the water will drain instead of sitting on the roof as it does now, which is what our problem is. So that's what we're looking at doing.
Now, do you have any funds for this at all?
We have a roofing fund of about $5,000, and we have reached out to some other possible donors. Don't know if any of that will come to formation or not, but that doesn't mean we're gonna stop asking. We're gonna reach out and see.
Cause when we originally talked about this, we had talked to Shelley
Right.
about getting the quotes and things. we had anticipated giving $50,000, which would be half your project.
Yes.
But we went back and looked, and we're willing to go up to 100,000.
That would be incredible.
So that gets you to,
Incredible.
get you almost there. So, but as long as the other commissioners agree to it, we're looking at taking, because again, we feel, this commission, these outlying areas like Harmon, the Dry Fork Recreation, very important there, $250,000 there. That part of the county, and what you all do with that homestead is, and we try to say that this is surprise, I kind of floated out there, we were gonna give you 50,000, but all along I knew we were gonna give you 100. But those parts of the county are very important to them, and we try to help them whenever we can. All right?
Is it on the historical register?
It is, and, we have continued to, we look at grants, but grants take time, and
And the winter's coming.
winter's coming, and we don't have a whole lot of time to get secured so that we can continue doing what we do, and we love volunteering there.
I didn't know they had requirements, this is on the historical register, if you can have to change the roof.
As long as we don't that much, like we can do enough to, yeah, that's why we're looking at the slant that we've got so that it can continue on the historical registry.
So we, in our budget, we have a line for community development, and we take money from tax dollars that we get in, we plug that into that for projects like this. And then also, we get grants throughout the year.
Uh-huh.
And we have a LATCF grant, right, correct? That we are going to pull the other 50,000 from to give you the 100,000. So we'll take the local tax dollars of 50,000, and then we'll give you $50,000 from a grant that we can spend it on everything except for wages.
Anything except lobbying.
Lobbying. All right, so I can spend it on wages.
Lobby.
Don't tell sheriff that we can spend it on wages, okay? But yeah, so that'll be $100,000, all right, so we have a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the funding request from Tiger Valley Homestead Association in the amount of $100,000. With $50,000 we take from the general fund community development line, 001430230.
You can skip that.
And the remainder to be taken from the LATCF fund with similar numbers.
I'll get it out of the right fund.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the funding request from Tigers Valley Homestead Association, the amount of $100,000, with $50,000 to be taken from our community development line, and the other $50,000 to be taken from our LATCF fund line, which is a grant that we received from the federal government, correct? All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Sally?
I'm sorry.
He's concentrating, he can't do two things at once.
I know, it's hard for an old state trooper, ain't it? All right, so I want you to tell Shelley that. I knew all along we were gonna give 100,000, but I just couldn't.
But you didn't tell.
I didn't wanna tell her.
I can't thank you enough on behalf of the board of the members of the board from Homestead, and enjoy, buckwheats with us anytime.
They're
Those will be
$50 a
starting
plate.
soon.
$50 a plate for both.
No,
I go
no.
by there every day and you all always got something going on.
Oh, we do, we try to
Great
anyway.
stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is consider approval of funding request from Emma Scott Garden Club for the Rosie the River Demanda. I'll be here for that.
Good afternoon, thank you for having us back. I brought part of my team with me. I have one Rosie the Riveter with me, Virginia Castles, 96.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you considering helping us out. This will be good for the community, it'll be good for the veterans, it'll be good for all of Randolph County and all of West Virginia. These ladies worked so hard during World War II. I believe I have one more Rosie with me. Here she comes. She's 99.
Oh my.
Ruth Hepler.
Is that gonna be in the paper?
Come on, Rachel. So this is for our Rosies, and so we have two, both happen to be members of the garden club. And Ruth, Ruth Hepler had her hair done special for you.
Keeps falling off.
We'll come to her.
Yeah, but I wanted to thank you for having.
All right, and the project's gonna cost you $70,000, is that correct? All right, and I know you said you're reaching out some grants and from the city and.
We do, and I have another young man with me, Ashton White. He's doing a bike-a-thon for us. He's 17 years old. He joined a garden club it's been almost a month.
Yeah.
And he found out about this Rosie the Riveter project, and without any prompting or anything, he said, I'll do a bike-a-thon for you. Can I let Ashton say just a word to you real quick? Ashton?
You're through my barrel, buddy.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. So, as Linda said, of course, she said doing bikes on, and I don't really want to take much credit. I mean, this is her idea and all. I'm just helping out. And so, actually, I'm in the middle of the bikes on right now. And as of this morning, I have bikes 300 miles, going for another 30-mile ride tonight with my bike team. But yeah, I mean, it's been an honor to be able to support the Rosie the Riveters. It's a huge icon in World War II, and I mean, I feel like I like to say that I've really been riding not just to support the Rosie the Riveters, but to support all the veterans who fought during World War II. And I mean, it's just a huge honor for me to be able to do this, and I'd be really grateful if I could raise as much money as possible. As of now, I've raised about $6,000 from local businesses. Yeah. Thank you.
Now, what do you do Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday. Where's it gonna be held again?
It's right at the American Legion in front of you.
So at the American Legion, this Saturday at around 6 o'clock.
10 in the morning.
10 in the morning?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're gonna do it at 10.
I'm tired. I'm tired. But at 10 in the morning, 10 a.m., we're gonna be meeting up with anyone who wants to come down and just, we're just gonna be riding. I've already gotten a bunch of people, just come down, and if you want to guys, you yourself, you people want to come down and just bring a bike and just ride, yeah.
Did he bring his motorcycle?
I don't think you're allowed to ride a motorcycle on the rail trail.
Simon only rides one with a motor on it.
Well, we have a lot of e-bikes, so.
That's what
I got an e-bike.
But it's
Thank you, Ashton. We do appreciate it. I'm glad to see a young man step up and do this.
Well, Ashton, why don't you tell them what your ambition is to,
Okay, well,
after graduation from high school?
I'm applying to the academy, the Naval and Air Force Academy, and I'm really interested in aerospace engineering, so either college would be amazing to go to. And as of now, I've finished my application for the Naval Academy, and I just finished all the essays up for the Air Force Academy, so I'm getting them done.
Well, good luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Ashton, we're proud of you.
Hey,
You're from Elkins, or?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we need a lot more like this.
Yes, we do.
All
All right.
He's also helping us on our Blue Star markers for the veterans. He's taken over lead on all the gardens, so you'll see red, white, and blue flowers go in. So he's done quite a bit for the veterans.
Yeah, I've been really helping out, but my mom, she's the mastermind behind the Blue Star Memorial. She has all the plans. I'm just doing what she tells me to do.
That's a good sign.
You're learning fast, buddy.
That's a good sign.
Trust me, you'll be doing that for the rest of your life.
All right. We want to give you half of what the monument costs, so 70,000, so we're going to give you 35,000. So with his 6,000, you're 41,000 there.
We're getting there. We appreciate all your support and help. And I wanted you to say hello to my Rosies, my two, Virginia Castles and Ruth Hepler.
Thank you both for what you've
Yes.
done.
Hello and thank you. And the paper would like to get a picture, when we'll get this done and motion, then we'll get, so they get it. All right. So we have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the funding request from the Emma Scott Garden Club for the construction of the Rosie River Memorial Statue in the amount of $35,000 to be taken from the community development.
Again, this is a line that we take local tax dollars into. So local tax dollars is gonna go to help fund this project. So I think it's really good use of tax dollars. So, motion on the floor is to approve the funding request from the Emma Scott Garden Club for the construction of the Rosie Riveter Memorial Statue in the amount of $35,000 to be taken from our from our community development line. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, so you wanna get a picture? We'll go come down there, you go.
Let's get our roses.
Get that chair.
We'll get our whole
Please, your poor beauty.
Yeah. Where would you like this?
So right here in front. We can do the side.
Right here.
Side? We'll do it right up here. So you can get up here in front of
Can you help this far?
Yeah, she'll do it.
Yeah, she said she's been sitting too long.
Me too.
I know.
Really?
You got your hair bowed, that's great.
Thank you. Stay right over here, shake.
Jim, come over here, you're part of my team. He's my
Right in here.
advisor, come on.
Keep
You're
going.
right up front and center.
Yeah, you can get in front of Ashton, he's so tall. We won't be able to hide him.
You're right in
Swing
front
around.
right here.
I'll stand here with Mr. Sue. If he can do it, I don't know if he can get this angle.
Hey, Paula, we can put her right here.
Yeah, just
Right up front.
Yeah, right in the front.
Put you right up front and center.
They want you to come over. They want you to be the center of
That's
attention.
what-
Yeah.
So we'll have you both together.
Hey,
Do you wanna stand right up like that?
Yeah.
Well, I can get on one knee if somebody help me get back up.
Jim, you're right where we want you.
Everybody ready?
We'll get one for the club.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you.
All right, you good? Everybody good?
Saturday.
I'm good.
Hello, how are you? Good, you too.
Don, how are you today? All right.
Still active. She was on a float 2 weeks ago.
God bless you.
Amazing.
Hey, Ashton, do you?
How, she worked until she's
The roses,
91.
yeah, get a picture.
When?
Linda will get a picture of the four of you together.
That's all right. I'll get one now.
Monday?
All right, ready? That's perfect. It's wonderful.
This will give y'all some good publicity.
Yeah, he needs it.
You're the one running.
Yeah, but he didn't buy another business just recently.
Yeah.
Buy what?
Huh?
Didn't buy what?
Another business just recently.
Just got one, he's got many.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for your support. Appreciate it.
Very happy to do it.
I'm not very hopeful.
Thank you guys.
Still doing very well.
I don't blame her.
Just while we're up, continue to go down.
I'm glad you did. If you run into it where you get close with her.
She said she's hungry, she wants to stay.
He's that way.
Thank you.
She said she's hungry, she wants to stay.
All right, next item on the agenda. Consider for funding request from the Randolph County Recreation Board. You want to talk about that, Chris?
Yeah, I can.
I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah. It's J. It's in J.
Yeah, the Camp Pioneers, finishing up their bathhouse up there. And we originally, had agreed to give them the last, $80,500 that they need to finish that project, and we'd give them the first half of it at the end of the fiscal year for last year, and with the promise to give them the second half at the beginning of this fiscal year. They're needing $40,250 to finish the project at this point. So I'll make a motion to approve the funding request for Randolph County Recreation Board in the amount of $40,250 to be taken from hotel motel.
Motion on the floor is to approve the funding request from Randolph County Rec Board, the amount of $40,250 to be taken from our hotel motel line. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is consider approval of the recommendation of the Fiduciary Commission on the state of consider removal of personal representative on the estate of Josephine Wingfield.
I spoke with her on Monday. They've hired a realtor. The realtor was coming yesterday to take pictures. If it's all right with you all, let's just leave it be for now. I'll keep an eye on them, and if it needs to come back, we come back. But as I spoke with the sheriff before the meeting, I mean, it's not to anybody's advantage to put the sheriff through doing all of this. If they're willing to sell the house in, you know, a couple weeks, couple months, 6 months, doesn't matter. As long as we're moving forward, and we're not just coming to every meeting and saying, gotta have another 2 weeks.
I agree.
All right, so table. Motion to table, item K. Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion, item table K, until further information is received on the status of the estate.
All right, motion on the floor is to table item K. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is consider approval recommendation for the Fiduciary Commissioner on the state of Nicola Maines.
Mans. And, there's a point of order for the minutes. I am not here as fiduciary commissioner on this. I'm here as counsel for
All
the
right,
state of Mans.
so strict that.
I know it's been a long afternoon. I'll try to be brief, but by way of backgrounds, Nicola Mans, had 6 kids. Nicola Jr., Rebecca, Sarah, Jennifer, and Rebecca and Jennifer are both here today, as well as Paul and Brian, who live in Maryland. Nicola predeceased him, so he had 2 grandsons. The only difference between, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. What had happened was when he died, the kids couldn't find an original will. The clerk rightfully said, we're not gonna admit a copy. They did have a copy. There's no prohibition against admitting copies to probate in West Virginia. It's just that the clerk has a policy that they want an original. That's a good policy to have, but what we're doing here is we filed a petition for probate in solemn form, which is the long form probate process. It gives all of the beneficiaries notice. I have here the service for all the beneficiaries, except for the petitioner who doesn't get service. Basically sending it out saying we want to probate this will. The only difference in the will, he had 6 kids, so without a will, it would have gone 6 ways. The one child, kids get his share, so they each get 12. But the way he had drafted his will, he omitted one of his daughters. That was apparently because he had taken care of her during her lifetime. She's aware of this. She has signed an acceptance of service and an answer that says she doesn't dispute the allegations of petition. So basically, instead of splitting it 6 ways, they're gonna split it 5 ways, omitting that one daughter. That daughter's aware, she's received a copy, she says she doesn't dispute it, so there really isn't any contest to be had. Everybody, all the other 5 are gonna benefit from that daughter being left out, because they'll go from a 6th to a 5th. So there really isn't any dispute or problem or issue. It just has to be carried out the long form way because they couldn't find an original will. But I think Carla is the petition in the file on this? Do you know? Anyway, I have and I will provide the originals for the services, and particularly Sarah there is on top. She was the omitted daughter. And the Secretary of State Services on the 4 that live in Maryland. I'd ask that the County Commission allow Rebecca Anderson to probate the copy of the will of the estate of Nicola Mans in its usual manner.
All right, so you're not the Fiduciary Commissioner, you're the counsel for?
Yeah, I'm counsel for.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the recommendation from the council for the state of Nicola Mans?
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation of the council for the state of Nicola Mans.
Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve the recommendation from the council, for the state of Nicola Mans. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
These-
Carla,
Or just go to Carla?
yeah, I will send them by to get sworn in.
Okay,
Thank you.
Not today, though.
okay.
Final settlements and
Wait,
accounts. Final settlements. Two? Four. Motion to approve the four final settlements as presented.
Make a motion to approve the 4 final settlements as submitted.
Motion on the floor is to approve the four final settlements as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? Budget revisions,
I think there are 4, they're in the,
are in here.
yep.
So they're all state in-house. Okay, we have 2 in-house budget revisions. First is for the sheriff, the adjustment to the Fund 073 expense line. Total increase, is, $2,045. So I have a motion to approve this in-house budget revision for the sheriff.
Make a motion to approve the in-house budget revision for the sheriff as to the.
Motion on the floor is to approve the first in-house budget for the sheriff, to adjust his Fund 073 line, expense line. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I see you smiled at me there, Christopher, but this was to fix a clerical error over in the courthouse. It's taken out of the wrong account.
We'll talk about that
All right. We have another in-house budget revision. This is, incorrect line items. It's, adjust these to make them correct, an amount of $506. So do you have a motion to approve the in-house budget revision for $506?
I'll make a motion to submit to approve the in-house budget revision for
$506.
$506.
Submitted.
Submitted.
So motion on the floor is to approve the in-house budget revision for $506. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
State budget revision, adjustment to compensate the, GHSP line for the SRT overtime that was inadvertently taken, by error. And it's $394. So state budget revision for the sheriff for $394. Commissioner Kiesling, aye. Commissioner Siler?
Aye.
Commissioner C?
Aye.
All right. State budget revision for the sheriff to correct unintentional omission of home confinement, and canine overtime. $12,911. State budget revision, Commissioner Kiesling, aye. Commissioner Siler?
Aye.
Commissioner C?
Aye.
All right, those are all the in-house, the budget revisions. Division of property rent assessments. Do I have a motion to approve the, Division of Property and Rent Assessments as presented?
Yes, I'll, make a motion to approve the, division of property and rent assessments as presented.
Motion on the floor is to approve the erroneous assessments and division of properties as submitted. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Distressed properties, fire fees, we have 8 fire fees. So I have a motion to approve the 8 fire fee adjustments as submitted.
Make a motion to approve the fire fee adjustments as submitted.
Motion on the floor is to approve the 8 fire fee adjustments as submitted. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of bills.